Can Jayden Daniels win NFL MVP? Step into my office. Welcome to another edition of Denton's office. I got two things. I got a microphone, which you can't see. I got a whiteboard, which you can see. It's dirty, sorry, but only important people have whiteboards. The topic of discussion this week, you see it up top here. Can Jayden Daniels win MVP of this league? We've started to see an influx of national media figures start to say Jayden is in the MVP conversation. A statement which, by the way, I agree with. You probably agree with if you are watching this video. But let's actually look at what he is doing now, what needs to happen, and then I'm going to build a case as to why he should win the MVP. If you're a fan of this team, it's very apparent that Jayden Daniels is the best thing to happen to this franchise, arguably since 1991. I mean, you could argue like Adam Peters and Dan Quinn and all that too. But since 1991, when the team won a Super Bowl, there has been no greater addition to this organization than a guy that wears number 5 on his chest. He has aura. He has skill. There's something about him that leads me to believe that he is the one that we have been waiting for. It wasn't Robert. It wasn't Kirk, with all due respect, kind of, to half of those guys, to all those guys. Jayden is different than everyone that's come since this team last won a championship. And we saw that on display this weekend with a Hail Mary to beat the Chicago Bears to solidify Rookie of the Year. There's a reason we're not having that conversation. No matter what kind of delusional fantasies that Chicago Bears fans have, that award is now wrapped up. Jayden is the guy to win Rookie of the Year, but can he get the bigger award? Can he get the 3 most important letters as far as NFL awards are concerned? Here's what we got to look at so far in this season. You got to take into consideration a lot of different things when you discuss MVP. I've written out a couple of his stats here on my trusty dandy whiteboard because I'm important and only important people have whiteboards. Through the first 8 games of the season, Jayden Daniels has thrown for 1,736 yards. That leaves him 12th in the NFL. Now, if you understand the context of Jayden Daniels' season, this is really through 7 games, because we know he only played a series in that game against Carolina. He completed like a pass for 5 yards to Austin Ekeler. However, when you get to the situation of voting in the MVP and you compile all of the statistics, that doesn't necessarily show up. You just get the number of games that a guy has played matched with the yards. So admittedly, had he played the entirety of that game, especially considering how awful the Carolina Panthers defense was, this number is likely significantly higher. But it is not significantly higher now. He's currently 12th in the NFL in passing yards. You look at the passing touchdowns, he only has 7. That's not a lot. That is not a lot. This is one of the downsides to the argument of Jayden Daniels for MVP right now, is the fact that he only has 7 passing touchdowns. Again, same argument for the yards. If he plays in that Carolina game, you likely get at least 2 or 3 passing touchdowns to get him potentially to double digits, at the very least 9. However, he did not play, so we do not have that. But with Jayden, you factor in rushing yards. He currently has 424 rushing yards. That's 23rd in the NFL. There's one quarterback that has more rushing yards than Jayden Daniels. He plays up 95. It's Lamar Jackson. Jayden has 4 rushing touchdowns, which, as you saw in the beginning portion of the season for Washington, the rushing touchdowns were a huge deal for him. That really put him in a position to build confidence and put points on the board for the Commanders. These are what I call as the very regular stats. If you're a casual NFL fan, maybe you jump on Twitter every couple days or so. You're not like locked in to this NFL thing. You care about yards, you care about touchdowns, and then you can get into the rushing stuff, the yards and the touchdowns, but you probably don't look further than that. Thankfully, I'm a dork, and I do. Because we got other numbers, and these are the numbers that really take Jayden to the next level as it relates to this MVP conversation and just how well he is playing. If you look at his rating, right now through 8 games, he has a quarterback rating of 104.3. That's exceptionally high for any quarterback, let alone a guy that's playing his first 8 games of the season. He currently ranks 7th in the NFL in that number. And then you look at QBR, which, if I'm being honest, And not just because he's ranking better in QBR than in rating. I tend to think that QBR might be a better stat to look at because it seems like it is a better idea, or gives you a better idea, rather, of how a quarterback is playing more so than the rating. It's a convoluted mix of numbers. I'm not going to bore you with the math because I don't want to get bored with the math. But what I will do is use these statistics to my advantage because that's what I'm good at. His QBR right now is 72.7. That's fifth in the NFL. As you climb the charts in these sorts of categories, the more your resume starts to be taken seriously amongst people that actually vote for this. These stats, these are for the casuals, these are for the people on Twitter, but the people that are voting, they not just look at these, they look at these as well. And I would think in 2024, these stats are more important, at least slightly, than these ones. But here's the big one. It's the completion percentage. We know that his first 4 games, he was on a historic trajectory when it came to the completion percentage. Since, it has dropped down a little bit, but a rookie quarterback in the NFL is completing nearly 72% of his passes. That is asinine. And I do not want it to get lost in this whole fun experience of Jayden Daniels, just how crazy this is. Because when you watch them play, he's not dinking and dunking. There is some quick game stuff, certainly, but now he is pushing the ball down the field. In the first couple of games, you could say quick passing, getting the ball out of his hands, yada, yada, yada. But we have seen over the last 4 weeks, these completions are different. He's taking shots down the field. He's allowing, and the offense and Cliff Kingsbury are allowing him to take deeper progressions with slightly longer developing plays that force him to, one, read a defense significantly better, but also make more impressive throws. So he's second right now in the NFL in completion percentage. But here is what is going to be the determining factor on whether or not Jayden Daniels wins MVP. It's the moments. The MVP is not just this amalgamation of math and stats and then giving the award to the person with the best stats. That is not how this goes. There is a human element to this, and there's a narrative. How do you build a narrative? You build a narrative with moments. And Jayden Daniels has given everybody moments so far in this NFL season. That first Monday Night Football game against Cincinnati. The first Monday night game against Cincinnati, moments. He goes into Cincinnati on Monday Night Football, and he delivers a dime to Terry McLaurin to win the football game. That's a moment. And then there was this weekend, the Hail Mary, when it felt like the Commanders game, not technically nationally televised, but was the only one that was on television, so everybody saw the Hail Mary. You won't get many better moments than that through the first 8 weeks of a season. And when you're talking about everybody else in the MVP conversation, I would challenge you to give me one, or albeit 2 moments that are better than the 2 moments that Jayden Daniels has given not just this franchise, but everybody in the NFL. And then there's the important thing of context. Where was this team last year without Jayden Daniels? They were not very good. Where are they now with Jayden Daniels? They're very good. And that's exceptionally important considering how much or how little this franchise and this roster has changed in a year. Most of the guys who are here on offense right now, they were here last year. Defense is a little different. Adam Peters came in, kind of wiped the floor with a lot of those guys on defense. But the guys that Jayden Daniels is playing with on offense, those were the guys that Sam Howell was playing with. Through 8 games, Jayden Daniels has been sacked 17 times. Through 3 games last year, Sam Howell was sacked 19 times. There's just a difference at who's playing quarterback. And this ain't meant to be like a Sam Howell thing. I'm over it. I don't really care. I got my guy now. But Jayden Daniels is giving you the moments. He has to get those numbers up. If these stay the same, if we get more of these, as long as these rise, then that conversation becomes legitimate. And trust me, there is going to be another moment. I don't know if it's going to be like a Robert Griffin 76-yarder against Minnesota down the sideline kind of a moment, But Jayden is going to give us a moment with his legs. I don't know when, but I have a feeling. It's a gut feeling. I got a feeling Jayden's going to give us a moment with his legs in a real big time game. And the Commanders are going to be playing in some real big time games in the month of November and December. Hot damn, does it feel good to say that. Let me know your thoughts. What does Jayden have to do to win MVP? Hit me in the comments section down below. Hit me on Twitter at the Denton Day. Thanks for coming to my office. Now get out.